Well, good afternoon, my Facebook friends. Great to be here again with you again for another opportunity to grow ourselves by growing our thoughts. We know that our power is in your thoughts. It's in our thoughts, and the results that we see in our lives are in they're really a direct reflection of the thoughts that led us there. So, on Thinking Tuesday, we set aside a few moments to examine our thoughts to determine if they're serving us well. Are they giving us wings to grow to greater heights? Or are they keeping us imprisoned in our self imposed boxes? Here on Thinking Tuesday, our slogan keeps us aware that our growth is controlled by our thoughts. We believe that your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds, and you can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. The choice is always yours. What thoughts are you allowing to occupy your mind? Are they serving you well? Are they taking you in the direction that you would like to go or that you would like to grow? Is a better way of saying it. Are you willing to make a change in your mindset if they are not moving you in the direction that you would like to grow? George Bernard Shaw said, progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. Imagine that. If you can't change your mind, you can't change anything. Are you one of those who would rather change your clothes than change your mind? That's easy for a lot of us to do, right? But changing clothes is the easy thing to do. Changing the outer clothing is easy to do. It's only cosmetic. The real change begins internally, on the inside, with our thoughts, in order to make a real difference, in order to make a real impact. And many times it doesn't have to be a huge change. Small changes do great things also. But we have to have the willingness to make a small change to see the difference and to see things from a different perspective. For instance, most people would consider themselves to be, they won't consider themselves to be great because they tend to associate greatness with wealth and status and power and size. But today, I would like you to entertain the thought that you are great. You are great when you begin to take action to move in the direction that you choose. Because greatness begins with your thoughts. They begin with your thoughts and followed by action. But how do you continue to be great when it begins with your thoughts? We continue to be great by being consistent in what we do. Greatness grows out of consistency. Greatness grows out of consistency. But consistency is something that many of us have difficulty maintaining, to be truthful, right? And when we are not consistent, we fail to attain our goals. We fail to attain our dreams. But as I mentioned earlier, progress cannot be achieved if we are not willing to change. And the change begins where? It begins in our thoughts. That's the beginning. That's the seed. The good news is that we can always make a U-turn on the highway of our thoughts. We don't have to keep going in the same direction if our thoughts are not serving us well in that direction. We can make a U-turn. The road is wide enough. We have enough time. So how do you achieve consistency in order to grow in your greatness? How do you achieve consistency in order to grow in your greatness? I'd like to share a few thoughts about how this can be achieved. Just a few thoughts. First, you must know what you need to improve. If you don't know, you don't know where to start. You must know yourself to grow yourself, as I always say. Think about what areas you need to work on that would motivate you to grow in greatness. Because if we're not motivated, we're not going to move. Are you willing to do those things that unsuccessful people fail to do? Number two, do you know how you're supposed to improve? Many times we don't know. We're stuck. And what do? We have blind spots, which we're not able to see around those blind spots. They don't allow us to see how we can improve. So we might get a coach, we might get a mentor, we might ask a very good friend who knows us well, a family member, but someone objective that's not going to tell you just what you want to hear. I personally use as a coach, I use the DISC, DISC personality profile to help my clients learn more about their personality style, their communication styles, and then we develop a plan to grow in the areas that they need. There's several ways to determine how you're supposed to improve. Those are just a few. And lastly, you must know why you want to keep improving. Your why is going to be the driving force behind your decision to improve. And these are a few questions that you can ask yourself to understand why you want to seek improvement. Seeking improvement is always good, but knowing the why behind it is even better. So consider these three questions when you want to determine the why of your improvement. It might be you're constantly procrastinating on important tasks. That could be a reason why you want to develop consistency and you want to improve. Or do I perform my duties just to get by, just doing the minimum to get by? Is that why you might want to improve and develop some consistency? And number three, do I start projects, for instance? Do I start projects and then abandon them, never finish them? Is that why you want to improve? Is that where you want to develop consistency? Those are all good reasons, and you might come up with some others. But how you become consistent will depend on those questions that you ask yourself. How you can improve in those areas that you can improve and why you want to improve in those areas. Consistency leads to success, and success leads to greatness. So once you begin with your thoughts and your decision to take action and keep moving in that direction, then you're achieving greatness. It doesn't have to do with status or wealth or power, because the power is in your thoughts. That's where the power is. So greatness is developed through action. So we started by saying that progress is impossible without change, and that those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. So as a start, consider changing your mind. Consider changing your thoughts that greatness is only about wealth, power, and status, because it is not. And see yourself as being great today. Yes, you can become great today. Now that you know that you are great when you take action to move in the direction of your choice. And that consistency of action keeps you on the journey to greatness. Isn't that good news? It's that easy. Start with your thoughts, determine what you want to change, why you want to change it, and then take some action. Think of what actions are you prepared to take today toward greatness. Because you do have greatness in you. You just have to excavate a little bit. You have to do something to get started, to show that greatness. You don't have to be wealthy. You don't have to be powerful. But like I said, the power is in your thoughts. So what actions are you prepared to take today towards your greatness? I hope this message has added value to you today. And it's always, always a pleasure for me to share motivating and insightful messages to assist you in your personal growth journey. And if you find value in this message, please share it with someone who you feel could benefit from it. When we find something valuable, we want to share it with others. I invite you, if you've missed previous Thinking Tuesday messages, to check them out on my website. They're all stored there. Not my website, my YouTube channel, which is Thinking Tuesday Cheryl Burton. If you would like to hear previous messages or share them with others. You may also visit my website, drcherylburton.com, to view some of those programs and services that I have that will benefit you on your growth journey. Feel free to request while you're there a complimentary consultation. If there are areas that you would like to explore that might be challenging for you, I'd love to be your thinking partner. So check me out on my website, drcherylburton.com. And again, I thank you for stopping in on Thinking Tuesday. I enjoy meeting with you at this time, which I consider an oasis of thinking, where we examine our thinking. We put some time aside to just tap into what we're thinking, see if they're serving us well. Because we have so busy schedules. Our schedules are so busy, but we need to take time to check in with our thoughts, to see if they're serving us well, and then have the courage to make changes where necessary. So take care for now. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at noon for another Thinking Tuesday message. Take care and have a wonderful week. Bye for now.